Level 1. First Plastic. You walk into the bank branch on the shopping street. You wait beside the brochure rack while customers leave the counters. A banker calls your name from the side office. You sit across from him with your backpack between your shoes. He pushes a paper bank envelope across the desk. You take it with both hands and stand up. You carry the envelope into the public lobby. You open it on the standing table near the window. You read a $500 limit on the approval letter. You peel the activation sticker from the new credit card. You place the card in your jacket pocket. You push through the branch door and step outside. You cross the street toward the neighborhood coffee shop. You join the line behind office workers near the pastry case. You step to the counter and order filter coffee. The cashier turns the old terminal toward you. You hold the card with 2 fingers near the reader. You tap the credit card and wait by the counter. The cashier hands you the paper cup and receipt. You lean toward the merchant copy beside the terminal. You read 2.9% plus 30 cents on the fee line. You fold your receipt and carry the coffee outside. You walk with the cup in one hand and the card in the other. You slide the card back into your jacket before the next door. You walk to the supermarket near your apartment building. You lift a basket from the stack at the entrance. You move through the produce aisle and place groceries inside. You stop near the dairy shelf and check the card in your pocket. You return to the checkout lane with the basket against your hip. You stand at checkout while the cashier scans each item. You tap the same card at the terminal again. You take the printed receipt and place it in your pocket. You carry the grocery bag through the sliding doors. You reach the bus stop beside the pharmacy sign. You step into the bus with the card in your hand. You tap the card against the bus validator. You move down the aisle and grip the overhead rail. You ride back toward the bank corner. You step off the bus near the pharmacy window. You enter the pharmacy and face the pharmacist behind glass. You receive a small pharmacy bag across the counter. You slide the bag into your backpack near the door. You walk back outside toward the ATM at the branch wall. You insert the credit card into the machine. You press the balance button beside the keypad. You pull the ATM receipt from the slot. You stand beside the machine with the bank behind you. You place the card beside the long coffee receipt. You press the card against the receipt with your thumb. You close your hand around both papers and walk away. Level 2. Minimum payment. You bend near the apartment door and lift the envelope. You carry it to the small table by the window. You tear it open beside the grocery bag from yesterday. You unfold the credit card statement under the kitchen light. You read a $1,240 balance on the statement line. You read 29.99% APR beside the interest box. You slide the statement into a bank folder. You place the folder against your chest. You put on your jacket and leave the apartment. You walk to the bus stop with the folder under your arm. You step onto the bus and take a paper ticket. You hold the ticket while the bus pulls from the curb. You stand near the rear door and keep the folder closed. You get off near the same branch on the shopping street. You enter the bank and join the line at the desks. You watch one customer leave with a stamped form. A consultant gestures you toward a small office. You sit across from her and hand over the folder. She turns the statement toward you on the desk. You place your palm over the minimum payment line. You pull the folder back and stand from the chair. You walk out through the branch doors into the street. You pass the coffee shop from the first card day. You continue past the counter window and enter the discounter. You take a discount basket from the entrance stack. You walk to the lowest shelf in the food aisle. You place 1 pack of noodles into the basket. You stand behind a customer with a full cart. You set the basket on the register belt. You pay at the register and carry the bag outside. You cross the street toward the pawn shop window. You enter and face the appraiser behind the counter glass. You pull old headphones from your backpack. You set the headphones on the pawn counter. The appraiser tests the cable and pushes them back toward the scale. You stand still while he writes on the ticket. The appraiser pushes a pawn ticket toward you. You sign the pawn ticket on the counter pad. You take the ticket and place it in your jacket pocket. You return to the evening bus stop near the branch. You squeeze the paper ticket while cars pass the curb. You step onto the bus and stand near the rear door. You walk from the stop back to your apartment building. You climb the stairs and unlock the apartment door. You place a paper plate on the empty table. You bring the noodles from the bag to the plate. You carry the statement from the folder to the table. You lay the statement beside the plate. You press the pawn ticket over the minimum payment line. You sit down with the open folder beside the food. Level 3. Cashback Hunter. You walk across the car-sharing parking lot near your building. You open the car door and place the receipt folder inside. You sit behind the wheel with the new metal card. You open the welcome sheet on the passenger seat. You read $0 balance on the welcome sheet. You read 2% cashback on the reward line below it. You tuck the welcome sheet into the plastic receipt folder. You place the old pawn ticket under the back flap. You start the car and pull out of the parking space. You drive toward the gas station near the mall road. You park beside the pump and step out of the car. You lift the fuel nozzle from the pump cradle. You insert the nozzle into the tank. You stand beside the car while the numbers climb on the pump screen. You walk into the station shop to pay. You tap the metal card against the terminal. The cashier hands you a fuel receipt across the counter. You lean toward the merchant copy beside the register. You read 2.9% on the store fee line. You stop at the counter with the receipt in your hand. You place the receipt into the plastic folder. You return outside and close the fuel cap. You drive toward the hypermarket near the mall. You push a cart through the wide entrance. You move past the discount bins toward the meat aisle. You lift a pack of steaks from the chilled shelf. You place the steaks into the cart basket. You steer the cart toward the self-checkout lane. You scan the groceries one by one at the station. You bag the items and move to the payment terminal. You tap the metal card against the reader. You take the printed receipt and leave the checkout area. You cross the mall corridor toward the food court. You carry a tray past crowded tables and open chairs. You set the tray on a small table near the aisle. You return to the counter for the payment slip. You tap the metal card at the food court terminal. You take the receipt and place it in the folder. You carry the tray back to the table and sit facing the corridor. You walk to the internet order pickup desk near the exit. You hand the pickup slip to the clerk. The clerk brings a sealed box from the back shelf. You carry the box through the mall doors to the car. You drive home and carry the folder upstairs. You set the plastic folder on the apartment table. You add the fuel, grocery, food court, and pickup receipts. You close the folder clip over the stack. You place the metal cashback card across the receipts. You slide the old pawn ticket deeper under the folder flap. You press the metal card down until the receipt stack stays flat. Level 4. Miles Traveler. You roll a suitcase from your apartment door to the curb. You lift the suitcase into the taxi trunk. You sit in the back seat with your passport in hand. You place the premium travel card inside the passport cover. You ride through the airport road toward departures. You step out of the taxi at the terminal entrance. You pull the suitcase through the sliding doors. You cross the terminal floor toward the airline counters. You stand in the check-in line behind a family. You step forward when the agent waves you over. You place your passport on the counter. You place the premium travel card beside it. The agent weighs the suitcase beside the belt. You attach the baggage tag to the suitcase handle. You receive the boarding pass from the agent. You read 86,000 miles on the boarding pass loyalty line. The agent points to the airline partner line below it. You read $0.012 per mile on the airline partner line. You stand beside the counter while travelers pass behind you. You place the premium travel card beside the boarding pass. You keep both items on the counter for one more beat. You fold the boarding pass and place it with your passport. You turn from the counter and walk towards security. You reach the security bins near the belt. You remove your belt and place it in a tray. You place the passport cover in the tray beside it. You step through the scanner when the officer gestures. You collect your belt and move into the departure hall. You pass the plastic gate seats near the window. You continue toward the business lounge entrance. You face the lounge employee across the small podium. You hand over the premium travel card and boarding pass. The employee checks the card against the boarding pass. You hold the card near the podium for 1 extra second. You look from the lounge doorway to the gate seats. You place the card back inside your passport pocket. You put the lounge bracelet around your wrist. You walk through the glass doorway into the lounge. You carry a porcelain cup from the counter to a table. You sit beside the window overlooking the aircraft bridge. You set the passport and boarding pass near the cup. You lift the cup and look toward the departure boards. You stand when boarding opens near the gate. You walk down the jet bridge with passport in hand. You enter the aircraft and greet the flight attendant. You place your bag in the overhead bin. You sit by the window and pull the seatbelt across. You fasten the airplane seatbelt over your lap. You place the premium travel card on the boarding pass. You press the lounge bracelet flat beside the card. You slide the boarding pass under the card before takeoff. Level 5. Store Owner. You unlock the door of your small retail store. You push it open and step behind the counter. You lift the portable POS terminal from the back shelf. You carry it to the register area near the window. You insert a cash register roll into the POS terminal. You feed the paper through and set the terminal upright. You place the barcode scanner beside it. You stand behind the counter before the first customer arrives. You walk to the rear entrance when the supplier knocks. You open the back door and receive a box of goods. You carry the box into the stock area. You sign the delivery invoice on the metal cart. You lift the box onto the shelf behind the counter. You carry price holders to the front display. You snap a price holder onto the shelf edge. You return to the register as the first customer enters. You scan the product with the barcode scanner. You place the product into a small paper bag. You lift the POS terminal with both hands. You hold the terminal across the counter toward the customer. The customer taps a card and takes the bag. You tear the receipt from the terminal roll. You place the merchant copy beside the register. You turn toward the next customer in line. You serve customers through the afternoon from the same counter. You carry a paper coffee cup between the register and shelves. You straighten the display near the window between payments. You take a delivery call near the back door. You return to the register when another customer steps forward. You hold the terminal out again across the counter. You close the register after the last customer leaves. You print the monthly settlement on the cash register tape. You read $38,000 sales on the settlement line. You read $1,102 fees below the sales line. You stand behind the counter with the tape in your hand. You fold the tape and place it in the accountant folder. You put cash into the safe bag near the register. You lock the safe bag and carry it in your backpack. You walk to the accountant office 2 streets away. You sit across from the accountant at the document table. You hand over the accountant folder. The accountant stamps the top sheet and returns it. You carry the bank deposit envelope to the business branch. You stand at the teller window for small businesses. You hand the deposit envelope to the bank cashier. You return to the store after the bank visit. You lower the front display light after closing. You lock the door from inside the darkened shop. You set the POS terminal beside the cash register roll. You place the settlement tape under the terminal edge. You leave the terminal facing the customer side of the counter. Level 6. Payment Partner. You stand in the parking lot beside the service van. You open the rear doors and lift a terminal box. You load the branded payment terminal into the van. You hang the plastic partner badge around your neck. You climb into the van and drive toward the first cafe. You park outside the partner cafe near the delivery entrance. You carry the terminal box through the front door. You place the box on the cafe counter. You hand your business card to the cafe owner. You stand beside him while customers move through the line. You open the box and remove the payment terminal. You place the terminal beside the cafe register. You peel the card's accepted sticker from its backing. You press the sticker onto the cafe door glass. You shake the owner's hand beside the counter. You drive to the partner beauty salon across town. You carry the second terminal under your arm. You stand beside the salon manager at the reception desk. You plug the power cable into the salon terminal. You tighten the mounting key on the terminal holder. You step back while the manager runs a test payment. You pack the empty cable sleeve into the box. You carry the empty box back to the van. You drive to the partner mini market near the bus depot. You bring in a terminal box and a roll of thermal paper. You stand behind the owner at the crowded counter. You insert the thermal paper roll into the mini market terminal. You place the signing tablet on the counter. You hand the stylus to the mini market owner. The owner signs the tablet beside the register. You place the signed page into your partner folder. You drive to the small business co-working space. You carry the cafe, salon, and mini-market pages inside. You place the signed pages on the meeting table. You align the pages inside the partner contract. You read $2.4 million monthly volume on the portfolio line. You read 0.35% revenue share beneath the volume line. You slide the contract toward two store owners. You receive signed pages and place them in your bag. You drive to the payment processor office. You meet the processor manager near the glass conference room. You lay the partner contract on his meeting table. He points from the merchant pages to the processor agreement. You sign the partner agreement beside the terminal display shelf. You carry the signed contract back toward the van. You place the empty terminal boxes on the van floor. You press your partner badge flat over the signed agreement. You close the van doors with the contract under your arm. You stand behind the van with no terminals left inside. Level 7. Payment Network Owner. You step out of a black sedan at the data center entrance. You walk toward the security post with your pass visible. You tap the data center pass at the security turnstile. You follow the engineer through the corridor to the server hall. You stand beside the rack while he opens the cage. You insert the metal server key into the payment gateway rack. You turn the key and close the rack door. You take the key back into your palm. You walk out of the server hall beside the engineer. You ride the sedan to the acquiring bank office. You enter the conference room with the bank lawyer. You place the partner contract on the conference table. You open the bank acquirer agreement beside it. You sit across from the lawyer and turn the first page. You read, $80 million monthly processing volume on the contract line. You read, 0.18% net share beneath the bank and scheme line. You sign the bank acquirer contract on the final page. The lawyer collects the document across the table. You place the signed copy into the case. You carry the case back to the sedan. You arrive at the notary office before the merchant event. You step to the notary desk and place the contract down. The notary presses the stamp onto the document. You lift the stamped contract and slide it into the case. You ride to the merchant conference hall. You enter through the side door near the stage. You open the case of terminals before the merchants. You carry one terminal to the demonstration table. You place the conference microphone on the podium. You face the merchants from the stage. You hand the merchant nameplate to the first client. The client carries it back to the front row table. You walk into the payment network showroom after the event. You stand before the terminal display wall. You place one terminal on the showroom stand. You walk to the side table with the stamped contract. You set the contract beside the terminal case. You remove the first credit card from a paper bank envelope. You place the first credit card on the stand surface. You set the metal server key beside it. You press the metal key flat over the first credit card. You straighten the stamped contract beside the terminal. You step back and leave the key resting over the card.